Coming at you live, coming at you live. It's your boy Skillz with a special abbreviated edition of Skillz on Sports. What we're going to talk about today is not something I want to talk about. It's something I wish was not happening. And I was going to save it for either my solo show or my three-man show, but those are both kind of in limbo right now as we deal with some issues off the mic. So I'm going to just run this topic here. I'm just going to bring this up to you, let you hear what I got on my mind. I got to get this out of my system. It's a pretty rotten thing that's going to be discussed. And if you're watching this on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, thank you for tuning in. Let's get right to it. You probably heard, if you're a baseball fan or even a sports fan at all, or maybe even just watch the news, because this has been on the news, that Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco, very good player, very good young player for the Rays, maybe even their best player. He is under investigation for, why does the phone wait until I start doing the show to start going off? He's under investigation for doing some things to a 14-year-old girl, at least one 14-year-old girl, doing some sexual things with this girl. The word that they're using is dating. If you're a grown man, if you're age 22, you don't date a 14-year-old. You are a predator. So we won't be using that word. Homie is not been convicted yet, and I usually don't get into things like this unless I have proof, unless it's been proven. Because, there's accusations thrown around all the time against athletes, against all kinds of people in society, even, regular schmoes like you and I. And accusations are not always facts. But from what I'm reading from very credible sources online and in print and seeing on television, that this is a very credible set of accusations. It looks like Wander Franco is guilty of what he's being accused of. It looks like he's going to be, at best, out of baseball for the foreseeable future, maybe forever, and probably in prison. I have a daughter. She's going to be 14 in a few months. This is the kind of topic, no one wants to talk about this kind of thing, but let's face it, it's a real part of reality. And I just want to say, on behalf of myself and on behalf of any parent, any child, any mentally healthy member of society, just don't touch the children. Don't touch the damn children, all right? I mean, there's just so many other options you have, and don't do it. Don't be Wander Franco, okay? It isn't hard to keep your hands off the children. I mean, let's just take my own group of friends, for example. I got a group of friends. We run about 15 deep. We're all in our 40s now. So that means, do your math, between all of us, we got to be over 600 years old. That's 600 years on this earth, and at no point in any of our adult lives did any of us, will any of us ever want to touch the children. All right? We've pursued no children. We've wanted to pursue no children. We've done some crazy stuff in our lives. We don't. It's just don't do it. It's very simple. All right. And I'm not sitting here saying that we deserve some kind of medal for that, because that's the bar to be a human being. That's low, right? Not touching the children. When there's all these willing adults out here, you could be, if you need to get your thingy wet, all right, get a grown woman, get a hooker, get a prostitute, call girl, whatever, or find a wife, find a girlfriend. You just stay off the goddamn children. Now, at this point, I think I want to just list a number of things that you could do if you're having these kind of thoughts. There's things you can do instead of that, all right? And the things you're supposed to do with children are, you're supposed to play with them, teach them, joke with them. Maybe you cook with them. Maybe you do some puzzles with them. You can educate them. You can entertain them, right? But what you're not supposed to do is fuck them, right? This is like human 101. Get a grown woman or a grown man if that's the way you roll. They can give proper consent. Fuck them, not the children. I can think of right now, just off the top of my head, about 33,782 things that I would rather do than do that. Maybe water my lawn, dump my garbage, go check my mail, dust some furniture, maybe pull out some old episodes of the old sitcom The Hogan Family and watch that. All right, there, the list goes. Digging my nose. I could dig in my nose instead of touching children. We could all do that. It's not something that I just can't wrap my head around it. I can't understand. I don't know why. When you have so much to lose, someone like Franco, and you're someone like Juan Franco, you have $182 million to lose, right? A whole career ahead of you, all these accolades he might have gotten down the road, and you let your thingy ruin it for you. Then I have no respect for you. I have no sympathy for you, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because none of us are perfect. All right, there's choices you can make though, and you have to know better. And when he signed that deal back in, I think it was in November of 21 or somewhere around that time, I knew it was going to go to his head. He was just too young. Most young people, you give them that kind of money, that kind of fame, that kind of influence and glory, they're gonna take it and do things with it maybe they shouldn't. But I never dreamed in 100 million years, people. I never dreamed in 100 million years homie would start doing this with maybe possibly more than one kid. I thought maybe he'd start speeding in his car. Maybe he'd pull out the old "Do you know who I am?" at a restaurant, or with a cop getting a speeding ticket. Yeah, that kind of thing. I never. For all I know, maybe he would have done it anyway. I don't know. Who knows? And it doesn't matter. What matters is that he did it now. He's been doing it apparently for some time, and his career is probably toast. If this ends up being proven true, his career's toast. We're not going to see him again on the diamond. That's really not the main issue at hand. I remember I was on TikTok a few days ago when this first broke, and some guy, one of his comments in response to the news was maybe, I guess Franco's going to go play in Japan now. You kidding me? First of all, it doesn't matter where he's going to play. It doesn't matter where he's going to play next baseball. That does not matter. Second of all, for those of you who don't know America, Uncle Skillz is going to tell you, when you diddle children, it's kind of frowned upon, and they tend to lock the people up who do that for long periods of time, right? They don't outsource them to Japan. Oh, Mr. Franco, we caught you getting busy with a 8th grader or two. That doesn't really look good for the franchise. We're not going to report you. We're going to make you go play in Japan. Shut the fuck up. All right, come on now. Give me a break. And I'm not trying to make light of what's happening here. Nothing about this is funny. This is just me, bringing levity to what's a awful situation. Because if we don't laugh at some of this horrible stuff in this life, in this society, if we don't laugh at it a little bit, make a little fun of it, at least for me, and I'm pretty sure for many of you, it'll mess your head up. There's nothing funny about this. Like I said, I have a teenage girl, and I'm not a violent guy by any stretch of the imagination, in spite of my massive body. But the thing is, if I found out this was happening to my child, I can honestly say that I would be very upset, and I would probably express my upset with objects that would hurt people. But that's another story for another day. So I just want to reiterate, keep your hands and your junk off the children. Keep your hands and your junk away from the children. It isn't hard to leave the children alone. They're not there for your thingy to go in, or to go in your thingy if you are the other gender. where I live, we have a number of children. There's my daughter, of course. There's a number of kids in the building, like age 7 through 10, and they're all friends with each other. Sometimes they come over and play with my daughter. Sometimes they come over and they play with me. We all hang out. We just do our thing. And what we do, we make slime, right? Sometimes we cook. Sometimes we watch wrestling on TV. Sometimes we play zombie or some kind of sport, whatever. We do those kind of things. You know what we don't do? We don't fuck. And that's the way it's supposed to be, right? I don't know how you would even get to that. How your head even works that way, to where you think that sort of behavior is okay. All right. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm just trying to picture. I'm trying to picture being around some kid somewhere and thinking to myself, man, I wonder what she looks like naked. I mean, Jesus Christ. Or the kid comes up to you and the kid's like, hey, I start 4th grade next summer. And you're like, oh man, that is so hot. Getting this out, I have to share this with you. Just getting it out of my system, all right? Just the horror of this, how jacked up it is to where you even want to do something like this. This is me getting it out of my system. This is therapeutic for me. Thank you for listening. And so I have a couple notes here I wanted to close with. Basically, remember the Felipe Vasquez story from about 3 or 4 years ago, the old Pirates closer who was caught he wasn't actually caught doing the teenage girl, but he was proven to be in a sort of sexual arrangement with this girl. He was doing things and saying things to her that you should not be saying to. I think she was 15 years old and he was 28. And it's just absolutely nasty and disgusting, and I just can't even... The things he was saying to her, I wouldn't even say to an adult woman. Let's put it that way. So he ended up going to prison. We didn't hear much about what happened to him after he was sent away to jail, but yeah, he did eventually get convicted of his crimes. He was convicted in 2 states, if memory serves, Florida and I think I want to say it was Pittsburgh or St. Louis was involved somehow. I should look that up. But anyway, he went to prison, and what I hoped any good could come from this situation was that anyone coming up in the major leagues from that point on would know about what happened to Vasquez or what he did to himself. I shouldn't say this happened to him. He did it to himself. And learn from that you have all these options available to you. There's no need to freaking touch the goddamn children. But apparently, even though there's a few ex-Pirates who played with Vasquez on the Rays, like Tyler Glasnow and 1 or 2 other guys, if I remember, apparently it never came up. I mean, how could it? I'm not blaming those guys. Trust me, I'm not blaming those guys. I'm just saying, I would think if you're Franco and you're having that sort of thought, and you know anything about baseball history, and you have any sense in your head, you would at least say, oh, well, they caught that guy Vasquez doing this stuff. Maybe I should just really not do this stuff, if for no other reason, just to protect myself. Not because it's heinous. The heinousness doesn't even take that out of it. Just for what you have to lose as an individual, as an athlete alone, should be enough to stop you from doing something that freaking nasty. But hey, my mind doesn't work that way. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on for too long. Just want to get that off my chest. So once again, I want to stress: don't be Wander Franco. Don't touch the damn children. I'm Skillz. This has been a brief special edition of Skillz on Sports. Hopefully I'll have a full edition for you coming up over the weekend. Peace out.